if you love your wife or if you and your kids, don't buy a car from Japan, please, because the minute they crash, the car will just crumble. Africa, China for Africa, Japan for Africa, you are given substandard vehicles.
If they can say that these vehicles are for Africa, what can stop them to say this medication specifically, it's low standard? Let it go to Africa.
That's what they do. That's what they do, and they'll be well retained. When you look at the sales and so forth, these are for not to be used in America, not to be used in the Europe. Like where we have actually reached now is whereby Africa has to unite and say no to this kind of or misuse or being taken advantage of.
This is a Zimbabwean who have stayed in the UK for more than 20 years and now owns a car rental here in Zimbabwe. Some of the things he reviewed to me are shocking.
Things like myself, I do love European standard vehicles. That's the other thing we have actually to understand as a country or as a nation. When it comes to vehicles, you rather go for European standard vehicle, number one. Second thing, you rather go for a car which has been made in South Africa, number two.
Oh,
yeah. So you have to understand what is meant by China for Africa, China for America, or China.
Can you explain what is the difference?
Yeah. So the difference is this: a European standard vehicle, everything which is on the vehicle is almost like 100%. It's not more than 0.1 off. From the engine, from everything, from the alignment, it's top notch. The shocks is top notch. So when the Japanese are making vehicles, they know that they have to meet this criteria or standard for those vehicles to qualify in the UK. So yourselves, Africa, China for Africa, Japan for Africa, you are given substandard vehicles. I still remember at one point, one of my uncles wanted a JCB. I went in Leicestershire, there was a JCB center. The JCB was going for 100,000. Then I was trying to negotiate to get it for something like 95,000 so that I'll remain with something like 5,000 as a profit.
Yes.
Then the guys were looking past, they were saying, how long have you been here? Why do you want to negotiate? Because that's why there is nothing like negotiating. When the price is there, pay that price and get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Most of the times. Then this guy liked me because the way I was talking and trying to negotiate, said that I still need to eat if you do this and so forth. Then he said, I'll buy the same vehicle, the same machine. This JCB you want, I'll organize. You can pay here. Then it will be coming from India, but it's going for 75,000 pounds.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So the same machine, going for 75,000, but it's made for to go to Africa or those other.
Is it not that we don't complain?
The thing we do complain, but we don't complain enough. Like now, if I want to buy the solar panels, if I go on the website from China, if I put the address for Zimbabwe, they'll be cheaper than if I put an address for UK. So I would rather go buy the thing to be shifted to UK first, then it comes over here. It's same thing, but different standard, different quality. So, when you buy a vehicle, I actually tell my friends that if you love your wife or if you and your kids, don't buy a car from Japan, please, because the minute they crash, the car will just crumble. And that's why we've got this, that when they do crash here, it's a fatal accident for sure.
You mean like crashing, like an accident?
Like crashing, yeah. So those cars, even if you try to drive them, the same vehicle, I can give you an example. If you drive an Alteza,
yes,
which came through Japan to Africa, then the same vehicle in UK is called IS200. Drive it, you feel the difference. Yeah. IS200 is made for European standard. It's made for Germany. It's made for Britain. It's made for America, those places. But for Africa, Butazong, it's just the same thing with clothes.
What does Butazong?
We can just and we don't complain. The government, they need to actually start saying that we don't want these things. We don't want these things. And like now, even when it comes to the clothes, we always just come directly from to Africa. That's the same problems we do have. But clothes, like you see this one, it's all European. The same thing if you go to SA, if you try to buy something from Gucci or from Nike, which has been made for Africa, if we compare with this one, we see the weight is different, it's slightly different, even the lifespan is different. Yeah. Because they will be knowing that, no, we just want their money. We just ship these things to them. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. But it's like where we've actually reached now is whereby Africa has to unite and say no to this kind of or misuse or being taken advantage of. We have to actually start being the manufacturers. We have to be making a say about the way we want our things to be.
No.
And we can only just do that by letting our kids or the sons of the soul start coming back here and be investing here. Let's give an example of Chinese.
Yes.
When the Chinese, they graduate from Oxford or any university, they go back there in China. They come and get educated in England, but they don't stay there for a long time. And they've got all the technology, they come and learn, then they go back. What's stopping Africa to do the same thing? So we go, so we learn, we come back, we develop our own countries.
Good question.
Why should we be actually be begging all the times? Yeah, like what is happening now with the Trump, this issue and so forth.
Exactly.
I'm saying
We look stupid.
we look stupid. Why do we look stupid? Because we allow ourselves to look stupid. Yeah. So why should actually take medication which is written not for Europe, not for America? It's coming to our Africa not to be distributed in the UK, but it can actually be used in Africa
Only.
Yeah.
But why is that?
Yeah, because there'll be just drugs and experiments or not sure about whether are they going to work.
You have a point.
Why don't they allow their own people also to take the same drugs?
If they can say that these vehicles are for Africa, what can stop them to say this medication specifically, it's low standards? Let it go to Africa.
That's what they do. That's what they do, and they'll be well retained on when you look at the sales and so forth. These are for not to be used in America, not to be used in the Europe. They do those kind of things. But us who are there, or are the ones who are running the healthy system. But why can't we actually start saying that we need to come back and make a difference for our kids, for our own generations? Other continents have actually started doing that. India is forefront. They've got their own laboratories, very huge. We need to start making an impact and make a difference and change our perspective about Africa, about ourselves as individuals. I think mostly in Zimbabwe, they normally want to criticize the country. Yeah. Why do we talk so bad about this? He is Zimbabwe, he is Zimbabwe, he is and why don't we have a positive perspective about our country, or not to try to publish the negative side of our country? We don't see why it's doing that. They don't. Only Blaze will say, I come from Nigeria, the Euros, but very bad. What?
I wanted to ask you something. When we're looking at our education system, you can find white kids in private schools. It could be secondary or primary. But when it comes to university level, you will never see a white kid at the university. Why?
Why? It's quite a good question. It's quite a good question. Because they would actually have gone back to their fathers' companies, and they'll be running their companies. Just imagine, you don't need a degree to run a company.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
But these kids, what is they just need minimum education, but during their spare time, or most of the times, they are already working for the companies which belong to their fathers. Like what we were talking about before, that as blacks, we don't inspire our kids to work within our companies. Just look at myself. I'm just here. Yeah, what's a good example?
Yeah.
But even our kids, they've got a problem whereby when they start getting educated, they don't actually look up to us all in the way and say that, oh, I want to start working with my father. I want to start doing things with our father. But why do they do that? Wherever he is, whether they are playing tennis, you want the kid to play tennis, they're playing golf, they're doing the same. He's into tracking. The kid can actually repair the track. Yeah. But us, we need to get educated. And education is overrated, to be quite honest. You don't need all that education, but you just need to know what you want and how best you can make money through what you enjoy most.
Exactly.